All right, let me drill this into y'all's head one more time, because clearly some people are not getting it. And I'm not just talking about girls, I'm talking about guys as well. You guys really think that a girl will be the same when she sleeps with 12 guys as she was when she slept with only 2 guys? Who are you kidding, man? You're keeping your own self in the dark. Anyways, some of this next few points I'll be talking about, a couple of them I actually got it from Donovan Sharp's video. I have to give the man credit. He was talking about it in one of his videos, and I was like, man, this is a great talking point, and I want to elaborate. I want to put my opinion on these points as well. Not all of them, because some of them I came up with my own, but there's a couple of them that I'll mention which one he talked about. Okay. Let's talk about the fact that sex itself is a drug. We can at least agree on this common ground, right? On this common term, that when you have sex, dopamine is being released in your head. Happy hormones that we call are being released in your head. Those exact same happy drugs are being released when you eat food, especially food that you like, tasty, good, delicious food. When you take some sort of drugs, when you're listening to music, and when you are happy, like something happened in your life, some event happened in your life, and you're happy about it. Same type of chemicals rush come in your life. Now, what do we know about these 4 scenarios I just said? If you eat the same exact type of food all the time, you're not going to be as much satisfied, as much aroused by the food, as much happy, excited by the same food that you've been eating for, I don't know, for the past 30 days. You're gonna need to change it up, or you're gonna need to intake the dose of the food. Same with drugs, same with music. So what makes you think it's not gonna be the same with sex? When a girl starts having more and more sex, that receptor in her head, it's called, I forgot the term. I studied it in one of my, only one psychology class I took. It was a prereq I had to take for my major. It called, neurotransmitters, or something along those lines. For those of you who are in the medical field, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's receptors in your brain that when you take certain drugs, when dopamine starts being released, these come from a part of a brain into another part of a brain. And the part that it goes into are called receptors. It receives those dopamine that's coming out of the part that's above it. So when you start rushing these receptors with tons and tons of more and more dopamine, it starts getting fried. You need more and more and more each time to feel the same type of high. At least we can agree on that, right? Especially if you're a drug addict, you know what I'm talking about. Same with smoking weed. If you're smoking weed, when you first started, 1 joint was enough. Half a joint was enough. Then 1 joint got you the same high. Then a month later, 2 joints, 3 joints. It keeps going up. Same, because you keep frying your receptors. Same thing with sex, fellas. So when a female is having sex with so many different guys, it starts getting fried in her head. Yeah, same thing happens with the guys, and I'll get to that in a little bit. The reason why I'm talking about it, I'll get to that in a little bit. The reason why I'm talking about females only on this, and why it's a bad thing for girls, not necessarily for guys. Why? I'll get into that in a bit. Because same thing does happen with guys. Yes, you're absolutely 100% right on that. So that's one point, right? That's one way to look at it. I think Better Bachelor Joker, he also talked about it in one of his videos as well. I can't remember. But I mean, we all know this. It's not like I have to watch somebody else's video to come up with this. We all know this. If you're some sort of smart guy and you know how sexual marketplace value, sexual dynamics, relationship dynamics work, you know this is true. The more you sleep with, the more you need to get the same type of arousal. This is why virgins are so much easier to satisfy in bed, because they don't have any kind of experience in the past. They have an orgasm way quicker than some girl who's been sleeping around with 10, 12 guys, or like her sex life is consistent. She's getting sex like 4 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever it is. Compared to a virgin girl who never had sex, and if you touch her and you do some good with her G-spot, you'll know it doesn't take that as much longer as it does with somebody who's been going through the same thing for multiple times and years and months and days and whatever, because that receptor is not fried yet in the virgin girl's head. Fellas, that itself should tell you that sleeping around for women is not good. Now let me come to the pair bonding part, pair bonding perspective. So when you start sleeping around with so many different guys, you start comparing your current sexual partner with the previous one. If you have sex with 10 guys and I'm the 11th guy in your life, 10 is actually a very low number for girls nowadays, right? So if I'm the 11th guy in your life, I know for darn sure that I'm not the best one you had, right? And you know that too. So that already puts me at a disadvantage in the relationship with you. You're already coming down from 100% on a relationship. And what do you hear from all these feminists and all your friends, all your parents and everybody? Oh girl, you deserve the best. So already I'm not at the best. Already I stepped down from that just in one aspect of it. Can I compensate with that in other aspects of the relationship? Sure. But does that mean that you are going to overlook this? No, you're not. It's always going to be in the back of your head, and especially during fights, during times where things are not going how you want it to go, ladies, you'll bring that up. Just to make us feel bad about, to us. Just to make us feel bad about yourself, about our performance. Do you think that's called an equal, loving, caring partnership, partnership? No. This is why I always tell you guys, don't be in a long-term relationship, because there are so many things you cannot overlook in somebody's past. Yes, your past defines you. If your past didn't define you, then when you go to apply for a job, a new house to rent, or new place that you go to, there's a background check process. That wouldn't be there if your past didn't define you. That point right there, I took it from Donovan Sharp's video. Salute to you, brother. So that receptor is fried and she cannot pair bond because she's comparing every single time. That man, okay, Mark is the 5th guy in my life, but what about Jimmy? He was so good. What about Ryan? He was okay too. Man, should I keep looking or should I settle down with Mark? I don't know, man. I don't know. He's not doing what I want him to do. I'm not happy with him. I'm not happy. Doesn't matter what we do as guys. You're never going to be happy, ladies. There's always going to be something you're going to find you're going to come up with. So don't even bring that point up when you're arguing with me about, or with any guy about this. I'm not happy. Don't even bring that point up. That's feelings. That's emotions. I'm talking about logic here. Let's stick to that. The receptors get fried. She starts comparing you over and over again. Think about it like this. When you give your heart out to somebody for the first time, a girl, right? She's a virgin. She just lost it to the first guy. That guy had 100% of it, of her heart, of her dedication, of her commitment, of the most valuable thing that she possesses is her purity, her virginity. He got full 100% of it. The second guy who comes along and sleeps with her, he gets 1/2 of it. Third guy who comes on gets 1/3 of it. Fourth guy that comes on gets 1/4 of it. Plain and simple, fellas. You're never gonna get that 100%. And the reason behind is this, is because, I mentioned this in one of my other videos, is because your brain has not gone into a coma where all your past memories just got completely erased. You're going to keep these memories in the back of your head. And in your subconscious mind, it's going to be playing in the back of your head, especially when you're in the act with someone. Especially when you're not happy with someone, you're going to bring somebody else up in from the past who you were happy with for a given period of time, given period of moment. And you're going to play that scene in the back of your head, which is very unhealthy for every and any relationship. It's going to destroy your relationship. What is that? Nothing. I promise you that. Okay? Because unless your brain goes in a coma, you go in a coma, and your brain completely resets to the point where you don't remember anything or anybody, that's the only time you can possibly say that, okay, Now the next guy the first guy I sleep with, he's the number one. He gets 100% because I don't know what I did in my past. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know none of that. What are the likeliness of that happening? What are the likeliness of you surviving in a healthy manner if your brain resets like that? I don't know the statistics on that, on comas and whatnot, because I'm not a medical person, but it doesn't sound like the odds are in your favor. Now let's come to the point that I mentioned, that guys do it too. But why are we talking about women here? Simple. Because guys only value women based on their looks. We number women, we rate women 1 to 10 based on their looks. Women, on the other hand, values and rates guys based on their looks, their income, their status, their power, their personality, charisma. A lot of things go into that. Their height, etc., etc. If we look at like a 5'10" girl who's smoking hot, we don't care that she's 5'10". She's still hot. We would still give her like an 8 or a 9. So when guys are sleeping with multiple girls, he's not investing himself or his mind that much into the girl. Okay, I'm attracted to her, I want to sleep with her. Plain and simple. Versus a girl, when she's about to go sleep with someone, she's analyzing a lot of different scenarios. A lot of different buttons have to be pushed in her by the guy for her to get aroused. And as I just mentioned, the more buttons guys start pressing, the less and less the girl starts getting aroused. Let me rephrase. Let me explain that a little bit more. Previously, maybe it took 1 or 2 smooth talking lines, 1 or 2 pickup lines, 1 or 2 incidents where the guy was acting real smooth. Well, that 1 or 2 incidents start happening on a daily basis from multiple guys. So now she needs more attention to get the same type of arousal. She needs more seductiveness from guys to get up to the same level of arousement. I don't think that's a word, but you guys get the point, right? Again, her receptors are being fried. So when a girl is, and subconsciously her mind is being invested into the situation. Is she investing actively into him? No. But subconsciously, he's in her mind. So when he dips the next morning, or let's say he just kept her on for a couple weeks and things didn't work out, that hurts the back of their head. That affects them tremendously. And now you can blame guys for that, yeah, he shouldn't have left me, otherwise I wouldn't be damaged like this. No. If we guys see a good-looking hot girl and she turns out to be cool, when I say cool, I mean we can tolerate her, we'll stick around. Which is the #1 problem y'all ladies have. You have this entitlement mindset where you think that just because you have something in between your legs, it makes you special. Just because guys give you attention right and left, not because they're actually interested in you, not because you actually have any value, but only because they want to sleep with you, doesn't mean that you should be letting that get to your head. Because that pushes guys away more than anything else. Because as soon as he gets laid with you, he just tells himself, oh, well, I got it. I mean, if she's acting crazy, if she's not doing what I want her to do, there's no point sticking around. He moves on to the next one. So no, it's your fault as well on that. Because you're never taught, first of all, and second of all, you don't even do your homework, you don't even do your research to look up and learn how to be a good girlfriend, how to be a good wife, how to be a good feminine woman. You don't. There's tons of information out here on the internet for you to look up and find that, but you'd rather be spending your time looking up makeup tutorials and Cardi B songs, right? Anyways, so when a guy is sleeping with multiple women, that's why I said there's a switch in his head. He can just turn that off because he's emotionally not invested into it. It's just like a physical attraction to him. And okay, I got what I wanted. Moving on to the next one. But when she put emotions into it, which is what happens with girls all the time, even let's say a girl who slept with 530 guys. The 531st guy that she's gonna sleep with, she's gonna give him some sort of her emotions. It's mostly going to be negative emotions because our receptors are fried beyond repair, but he's still gonna get some sort of emotions out of her. Because I always talk about it. Females are emotional. Us men are logical. Biologically, that's how we're built. You can't change it. And then you bring in the factor of female hypergamy. Yeah, the guys are hypergamists too, don't get me wrong. But as I just mentioned, when we see a good-looking, decent-looking girl, even let's just say a 7, most guys would be happy with a 7 if she's cool, if she's fun to hang around with, if she's not crazy, if she's not giving you a lot of trouble. But most girls, no. Even if they have a 10, they ask themselves, is this the best I can do? Or is there somebody better out there? That's called female hypergamy. Male hypergamy is not like that. Male hypergamy is like, okay, if I'm dating a 5 or a 6, yes, I want to move up to a 7 or an 8. That's pretty much it. It's basically pure upon looks. But even if that's 7 or 8, if she acts too crazy to me, I'll come back to my 5 and 6. If I figure out that no, there's no point going there, I'm not gonna leave this. But females, they will find any kind of small defect that you have, and they'll magnify that 10 times in their head and give themselves an excuse and a reason to go out and look for another man. Fellas, be smart, all right? Come on. Think about it. You really want to call somebody your wife who's been used up, who had 10, 20 other things inside of her? That just makes me want to throw up. Just to think about that. This is why, and again, if men and women sleeping around were exactly the same, then women would not be lying about the number of guys they sleep with. They would not be lying to minimize it. Because if a girl has slept with 20 guys, she'll tell you she slept with 7 guys. And if a guy sleeps with 20 girls, he'll tell you he's slept with 60 girls. Plain and simple. So if those weren't the same, women would be telling us the exact number, or let's rephrase it, women would be telling us 3 times more than what they actually slept with. They don't, because it sounds nasty. It turns guys off. But on the other hand, guys know that it doesn't turn women off when she figures out that he can get laid with multiple women. That's actually a studly masculine characteristic, because as I mentioned before in my other videos, is that woman doesn't need to do anything. There's no work required for her to get laid. All she has to do is show up and lay back on her back. Guys, on the other hand, have to do all the work. He has to reel them in. He has to be seductive. He has to turn her buttons on, etc., etc. He has to have her stuff together, have his stuff together. He has to have he has to be in good physique, good shape. All of this come in play, because we know that's all of this attract women. So when a guy is sleeping with so many different women, we automatically know that this guy has all of these qualities, if not most of them. Or most of them, if not all of them. You guys get the idea. Fellas, another point I want to talk about is, it kind of just escaped my mind, which was when you guys tell me that, yeah, guys sleep around too. Yes, guys do sleep around as well. But it's hypergamy, fellas. Female hypergamy works way different than male hypergamy. You guys have to understand, you guys have to get that through your thick skull. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable out here. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to hate yourself. You're going to be like, man, why are these girls acting up like this? Feminism. We live in a bad time, but it is what it is. Hope this video made sense. Like, comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and above all, stay classy.